Ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon, everyone. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Now, we are on the workshop on research-based teaching and learning, and I invite Professor Dr. Peter John Warner from Tohoku University. He is the founder of BOLT, and then in the next August, inshallah, we will have another session with BOLT with two agenda. The first one is ASEAN Youth Forum, and the second one with the conference. And then hopefully on the opening or closing ceremony, we will have the MOU between BOLT outreach and then with the university partner. Before we start, Sensei, would you like to give us the brief description? What is the BOLT outreach?
Okay. BOLT is a Balsamo Outreach for Learning and Teaching, which is an organization which was founded because of a very profound teacher named Bill Balsamo. And he was very active in trying to teach English and develop English in developing countries. So he brought workshops to those countries to try and improve the English of researchers, teachers, and even help children and develop schools in different areas. And after his death, I took on the goal to start BOLT as a national organization and to gather teachers to go and do presentations in various countries to actually bring the lectures and the seminars to those developing countries where the people cannot afford to go abroad and actually go to the international conferences. So I've been working with BOLT to actually do different types of workshops. Like I said, we've done writing workshops, or also we've done workshops on how to be better presenters, and also we try to also develop cultural understanding, and we've been doing that with youth also. So the second aspect of BOLT is to teach young people about the cultures and understanding of different Asian cultures. So these youth actually also are developing their English skills at the same time while they are doing this in full 1 week workshops where they actually interact with other international students, only using English as their language to communicate, because that's the only language that is internationally well known to most people. And so therefore, BOLT has been continuing to strive to develop workshops to teach teachers and also to help youth have a better understanding and become leaders in the future, and possibly even teachers themselves. And so that's what the goals of BOLT are.
Okay, thank you, Sensei. And then how the BOLT as the NPO in Japan come up with the idea of ASEAN Youth Forum?
Okay. Basically, Asian Youth Forum started with a person named Kip Cates, who worked with a group of English organizations such as Thai TESOL, Cambodia TESOL, and most of the teaching organizations around Asia. And so they called this consortium PAC, Pacific Asian Countries. And this PAC consortium decided to, even though every year all of these countries had separate yearly conferences, they decided that in PAC they would create one Asian Youth Forum conference at that country, which the PAC brought delegates from all the countries to, for their international conference. So they wanted to bring youth into the conference also and provide an opportunity for youth to actually participate and learn more about each other, while the teachers were actually at the same international conference working and learning more about themselves, more about each other. And so therefore, for 6 years, PAC was founded and ran Asian Youth Forum because of Kip Cates. But Bolt came in and started to want to bring more Asian Youth Forum programs. So in conjunction with PAC, Bolt made an agreement to go ahead and start doing Asian Youth Forum conferences. So I continued with both PAC and also Bolt started doing Asian Youth Forum conferences in Vietnam, Philippines, and Indonesia, specifically, very frequently. And so instead of having one Asian Youth Forum, only one opportunity a year for students, we wanted to increase the opportunities. And so we built it up so we had either 3 or 4 Asian Youth Forums during the year in different countries. This year, we will only be having Asian Youth Forum in face-to-face in Indonesia and nowhere else. But the next year in 2024, we are hoping to have Asian Youth Forum in at least in Tokyo or in Sendai possibly, but in Japan. So we want to have it in Japan, Vietnam, and Indonesia next year. So we're trying to get the face-to-face AYF back together again. But since 2019, since COVID, we actually have not been able to do this because of the flights and because of the COVID epidemic.
Yeah, thank you, Sensei. So we have now 2 eras. The first one, the era of ASEAN Youth Forum, where the Professor Kip Cates worked with the PAC conference. And the second one, we have the era of going wider, going somewhere else, not only as the PAC event, but we have another one through the Bolt. Is it right?
Yes, that's correct. So
Okay.
Bolt is basically now PAC is still doing conferences, but this year the PAC conference is not doing an AYF because they still concerned with COVID. But they do want to possibly do maybe in the future. But right now, Bolt is doing more Asian Youth Forum conferences than PAC. PAC is still not started up Asian Youth Forum conferences again ever since 2019, but they're hoping to do so.
Okay, and then through the Bolt, we already have at least 2 face-to-face program. Before pandemic, we don't call it face-to-face actually,
Yes,
because
yes.
it was during pandemic in Sendai, and one our online last year through the platform Tohoku University Interdisciplinary International Seminar. This is the way how the lecturers or teacher, they teach and learn, and in the same times they have the research. Do you have some idea about our twist for this year? Because inshallah we will have this twist this year as online, and hopefully next year we will have it face to face.
Yes. Well, basically, this is actually a great opportunity for more people to have an opportunity to try and speak in English online. And actually, I know for it's very difficult for many people to speak face-to-face and speak in English. Actually, online, it's easier to speak in English because you can actually not worry about speaking to the crowd, but you're just looking at a computer, and you can actually have better access to your notes or even to what you're actually referring to. So I encourage many people to try to prepare or a face-to-face conference in 2024 by actually enrolling in the 2023 conference, which will not cost anything. It's free. It's free online. They can all join. So if they would please go to the site and send their abstract, we will be looking through the abstracts and send out the schedules and try and give everybody as much as possible an opportunity to speak at this conference we are creating for 3 days. So if the regarding the conference in 2024, as I said, this is a preparation for the following conference. And how can they prepare to be better for that conference? Well, they can practice more with speaking, or try to do more events in Indonesia in English. But the more practice you have speaking and presenting in English, you will continually get better. And so the only way to really get better is to practice.
Yeah, thank you, Sensei. One more things about the teaching and learning. It is about practice. How your suggestions during your experience to train the young leader to speak English and interact with other cultures through the platform of ASEAN Forum. And then beside the practice, what is the key for to enhance the ability, not only for the young leader, the young people, but at the same time for the lectures?
The key is to feel that you have a real purpose for speaking in English and communicating with others in that language. If it's not necessary to speak in English or use that language, then we tend to probably choose the easy way out. For me, even using other languages such as Vietnamese or other or Chinese, those languages I probably am more fluent in than other foreign languages, only because I actually go to that country frequently and I interact with those people a lot, and I want to know that language also. So likewise with English, I think that you really have to feel like you have a strong purpose to speak it. Now, you're saying, you were asking about Asian Youth Forum. Why does this actually help students probably speak English better? The reason that I see is that the more that we experience English in a setting where we're actually not really thinking about the actual use of language, but just using it to communicate and for any purpose, for sleep, for speak, for eating, for traveling from one place to another, or for just talking about our family. Any purpose we have that is really meaningful to us will actually help us improve our language and also push ourselves to learn it more. So if you have a purpose to, for example, to present at some conference or to actually be involved in activities or workshops and where you actually have to communicate in English, then you're going to actually put more effort into it. And like I said, these students who go to the Asian Youth Forum, my college students, they get more interaction in 1 week with those students, talking with them than they actually get in 15 classes going for 1.5 hours, which would be about a total of maybe 30 hours total. Those students actually get more time in 1 week by just sleeping and eating and traveling and doing different activities with other students. Furthermore, there's been a push for task-oriented teaching. And task-oriented teaching is actually brought to the to the front, because it actually is telling us that if we have a task that needs to be done, then we are going to perform that task by speaking English as much as possible. And when you're going to Asian Youth Forum, you have many tasks. You have to do presentations. You have to interact with the other students. With these many tasks that you have to perform in English, your English gets better and you actually perform better.
Okay, thank you, Sensei. So I got two keys. The first one is about the experience. The second one is interaction. So during our experience and interaction, we can learn from our experience, these ones, how to interact, and in the same times we can enhance our ability in English. And
Yes.
We have another learning opportunity is about a cultural awareness. One more things, Sensei. What do you think actually about, because as you see in Asia, not only in Southeast Asia, but you work with the another part of Asia like China, like Russia in the Pacific, and then what is actually the main problem of learning English for the student or for the lecturers?
Well, the main problem, many of them worry about pronunciation, and they want to be able to speak perfect pronunciation if they're going to speak. If they don't have perfect pronunciation, then they are afraid to communicate in many cases. And in this case, what I am actually encouraging people is you don't have to have perfect pronunciation of English. You can work towards it. But you're never going to have a perfect native pronunciation of English if you're actually from another Asian culture, unless you are really strongly immersed inside another environment where you spend many, many hours using the language. And likewise, for myself, I still have an accent when I speak Japanese. And for me, I don't let it bother me that my accent is different than the Japanese. I don't need to have perfect pronunciation of Japanese. And it's also proven that only 5% of people who really put a lot of effort into pronunciation can actually get to close to probably 95% perfect pronunciation in speaking another language. So, in other words, communicate in whichever way you can. Use the vocabulary that you have available. Do not worry about not having enough vocabulary. Think about how you can express yourself with the vocabulary that you have and try to get your ideas across. And in this way, you will get communication with the people you are trying to communicate with.
Yeah, the last things, Sensei, during teaching, learning, we have another quote unquote for the lecturers is we call it research. So do you have any recommendations how to integrate between teaching and learning, and by the end come up to the research?
I see. Okay. This is something that we are striving for at Tohoku University all the time. To actually build yourself up to a level of research, you have to have you should have a minimal vocabulary. So basically, if you're trying to do well on a TOEIC or a TOEFL, usually the amount of vocabulary that you have mastered is going to determine how well you actually perform on those exams. And so one thing we have to do if we want to improve is to increase our vocabulary. And we can increase our vocabulary in many ways. One of those is by reading a lot, or by working with vocabulary enhancement textbooks that actually build our vocabulary more. These are the areas that we really need to do. Once you have your vocabulary established, once you have the minimum vocabulary, then you can concentrate on using it appropriately in sentences and having perfect grammar structure. And then once you've gotten to that point, then you start to work on your purpose and development of how you write academically. Writing academically and writing just for casual circumstances is very different. So we at Tohoku University, our courses actually are now geared towards writing academically. And so, for example, my courses are taught and said academic English is actually the title of my courses, because we're actually teaching the students how to write for theses or how to write for abstracts or how to write journals. It's not teaching the students just to write a short essay about their opinion or something, but to actually write for journals and competition in these journals later on. So probably the reason that Tohoku University has moved in this direction is because we are the #1 university in Japan, because all of our students move up into areas in industry or in other universities where they are actually publishing work in journals. And a lot of effort is, or even professors or people, their performance is actually determined by their ability to write academically and apply it to their work, or even their educational future goals that they have. So basically, I would say trying to teach that we need to write, and we need to think about the value of what we are writing about. Is it important? Is it important enough to put in a journal? And is a journal going to be interested in it? So these are the things I work with my graduate students, and also when I'm talking to other professors about what type of research we can do and how we can try to develop it and write better. Okay.
Thank you, Sensei. We are on the end of our discussions or workshop for today. As the closing statement, one more things. The way for the lectures or for the young learner to improve their skill, not only about teaching and learning, but about research and academic English. Can you share the tips and what is the closing statement from you?
The tips. Okay. I think the biggest tip I would give to anybody is try to read as much as you can in any area that you're interested in. If it's an area you're trying to pursue, try to read as much research or documents that are published in that area, and you will improve your English and you will write better for that area that you're actually preparing for. The more we read, the better our English will improve. And I know that nowadays reading is not, some people prefer just to watch and listen to lectures. Listening to lectures is good also. Listening to lectures is good. But actually, there's been evidence in some studies that shows that actually reading is more beneficial to us than actually just listening to somebody giving a lecture. So basically, I recommend lots of reading, and I've always done a lot of reading myself, and I think that that's always helped me improve my English as well. So like I said, experience is the best thing. And how do you build that experience? By reading as much as you can and developing your vocabulary.
Thank you, Sensei. Ladies and gentlemen, we have discussions through these sessions about research-based teaching and learning. And in the same times, the experience of Prof. Peter, not only about standing up in front of the class, but he has a willingness to go to Wamena, going to Raja Ampat, going to Ternate. We did a journey to Jambi, in Sumatra, and then another one to Parepare. He traveled a lot. This is the willingness because he want to share a lot of things, and then in the same times he put aside his time from the comfort zone, not stay in Japan only, but going somewhere else, include in Indonesia. And then these arrangements for this year, we will have ASEAN Youth Forum. So don't forget to register on the Ball Outreach website. We have the form over there. The program will be face-to-face in Maros, in South Sulawesi. We put a scholarship for everyone to come. And then we will have 2 online program, conference on language teaching on October. Another one in November, we will have the TWIST, the online mode, since we have the obstacle to have it face-to-face. But hopefully the situation will grow better, and then the next year we will have ASEAN Youth Forum for the same times, and then we have a TWIST face-to-face in Japan, in Tokyo or in Sendai. And then beside we have ASEAN Youth Forum, we will have another conference here in Maros in South Sulawesi. And then 18 to 90 of August, we will have another summer camp here to learn about the young scholars to learn English, and the same times we will learn the research activities. Thank you for joining us. We will have this regularly workshop every Friday. You can join us through the live Zoom. In the same times, you can join us through the YouTube. And if you have any questions for us, feel free to write down under the link of the YouTube, and then I can pass to the sensei your questions. So we will have another Q&A before we start for the next workshop. Thank you, sensei. Have a nice evening, everyone.
Okay, thank you very much.